So I'm going to show how I do my screen printing with my Cricut and a screen printing frame. So the screen printing frame that I like to use, it's on Amazon and it's pretty good price, and it's the Speedball one. And I like it because it's got these grooves in the back, and so if something happens to your mesh, or if you want to make a permanent design, you can buy some of the bulk mesh and then you just need this cording to put it back in. And it's a lot better than some of the others because the others you have to staple it in, and if you're taking it apart and putting it back on, it can mess up your frame. So this is a really good option if you want to reuse it or just keep using the frame for a long time. And so the first step when you are printing these is you pick out your design, and I've done a couple of the steps ahead of time to save some time on the video. And so the first step is you get your design, and it's really important if you have letters or words to mirror your image before you print it on the Cricut, and because you're going to flip the image. So I have this printed out and then I weeded it to get all of the spots where I wanted ink. So in a lot of cases that will be opposite from how you would normally weed it, because you're actually taking out the design instead of leaving the design you want. And so then after that, you get transfer tape and you lift off the design. And so I have all of that step done. So now we are to the actual screen printing part of it. So you get your frame, whatever frame you end up using, and you put it upside down. And this is why you mirror your image, because you're going back and forth a lot of different times. So after you have it on the transfer tape, you lay it down on the back, smooth it out, and then I like to go over it pretty good to make sure that the vinyl stays down. And I'm using just some bulk black permanent vinyl. It's the cheapest and I think it works the best, and it's just from Cricut. And so you get it worked down really low. And then I also like to go onto this side. So this is why you mirror the image, because you're using it as the stencil this way. And so then it goes the right direction. So really make sure that the image is pushed down. Because if it's not pushed down good, the ink will seep out under here. So you just want to make sure it's on really, really well, especially on a design that's really detailed like this one. You don't want there to be any kind of bleeding. Okay. So then you just pull off the transfer tape. Okay, and then I like to save the transfer tape because it doesn't need to be super sticky. And so I like to save it for another time, because then you're saving a little bit on that. So then I like to go over it one more time just to make sure it's all down really well. And honestly, transferring it over back and forth is the hardest part about this. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. So then I like to use my heat press to smooth it out just a little bit, so I have a really nice smooth surface to work on. you just line up your design, find the center of the shirt, and put it down. Make sure it's all smooth. And then you're gonna want to get some painter's tape or masking tape. And you're gonna use this to go along the edges, because when you're starting to go with the ink, it is kind of hard to control where it's going. So this just makes it so it doesn't seep over any of the edges, and it just helps protect things for you. Okay, and then comes the really fun part. So I love working with this ink because it's got a really fun texture and consistency. The black ink, I think works a lot better. When you're using the white ink, it kind of goes on more like a fabric paint, and so it kind of leaves a little bit of a raised part, and it will crack a little bit easier. It still looks nice, but you have to do a different, a thicker layer, and it doesn't spread as easy. So I recommend using black or the darker inks as often as you can, just because they go a little bit better and they're a little bit easier to work with. So when you're scooping it out, I just get a spoon and you just kind of lay it on there and just dab it the whole way across. And it's better to do more than not enough, because you can scoop it up afterwards, any of the extra. So, and if you don't get enough the first little bit, then your design doesn't look as good. So it's better to get a little bit too much than not enough. So spread over. And then I like to have a little tray here set up to be able to put this down afterwards, just so I don't have to stick it down on the table. And then you just put this down, and then with nice even stroke, putting pressure on it kind of at an angle, you go down your whole design. And then I like to go across it a couple times just to make sure that it's everywhere's gotten enough ink. So I usually go 3 times, down, up, and then down again. And on this one, I'm gonna scoop up a little bit of my excess just because my design goes all the way to the edge, and I want it all to be even when I pick it up. Okay, so one more time. Okay, and then set this down, and then here's the moment of truth. There we go. And so if you're going to reuse this design, just kind of set it up here, put your next shirt down, and then set it down and just do the same thing over and over again. But if you're only going to do one shirt, then as fast as you can, I would go and take off all of this and rinse it out, just because you don't want it to get set into your screen. And all you have to do is just rinse it under water. It comes out really good. That's one of the things I like about this ink, is it's water-based, and so it comes out. Like, I've even messed up on shirts, and if you go and wash it out really quick, it comes out and you can't even tell it's there. So it's really nice to work with. So after you're done, you just need to let this dry for at least a day. It's probably better to go 2 days, but I've done it with just 1 day and it works. And so make sure it gets dried completely. And then you're going to need to use a heat press, and I like to use it at 320, and then I do 30 seconds on this side, and then I'll flip the shirt over and do another 30 seconds. And when you heat it like that, it cures the ink and it sets it in so it's permanent on your shirt. And so you can wash it over and over again and it won't fade away. It's permanent there. And so it's really fun process, and hopefully this tutorial gave you hope to do it yourself and will help you through the process. And thank you for watching.